Hello, everybody. This is the Love Yourself Guru, and welcome to the Love Yourself TV. Today, we're going to be doing a video on the famous American poet, Mary Oliver, the late, God rest her soul, famous American poet, Mary Oliver. And she used to take long walks alone in nature, and she got her inspiration from her walks from nature. Nature inspired her and gave her her words. Now, she was once asked, what are the secrets to life? And I loved her answer, and that's why I wanted to share it with you in this video. And she said three things are the secrets to life. Number one is to pay attention. Number two is to be astonished. And three is to tell other people. So I'm here telling you. And today we're going to be focusing on points 1 and 2. And I truly believe, this is my point of view, I truly believe that if you actually take on points 1 and 2 in your life, number one, pay attention, and number two, be astonished, then your life will change beautifully in ways that you couldn't even imagine, God willing. So let's get on to the 2 points. The first point is to pay attention. Now, I actually believe that we all pay attention to our lives. Either we do it subconsciously or unconsciously or consciously. We're paying attention to our lives. So it's not a question of, am I paying attention to my life? I think everybody's paying attention to their life. The question is, what are you paying attention to? So people really fall into two categories, and I think 3/4 of the world's population fall into the negative category. And so most people either are paying attention to all the negative things in their life, or which is most of the people, or they're paying attention to the positive aspects of their life. And remember, what you pay attention to, what you focus on always increases. And so if you pay attention to the negative aspects of your life, inevitably that will increase, and vice versa for all the positive things. So let's say you fall into the category of the 3/4 of the world's population that, let's say, focus on the negative aspects of life. It's a habit. It's just a habit, but you're probably doing one or all of these three things. You're probably focusing on the pain of the past, or focusing on what you don't want, or focusing on what you don't have. Now, I'm actually going to be doing a video, God willing, on trying to get to move away from focusing on the pain of the past, especially dedicated for the past. But just in this video, I'm going to say to you, however painful your past was, and I had quite a painful past, and I know a lot of people, the majority of the people actually have past that were quite challenging, because everybody has their own story, and everybody's pain is painful to them. So you can't really say, well, her past was more painful than that past or that, because everybody's pain is painful to them. But all I can say about the past is that it's over. It's over. And the more you reflect on the pain of the past, the more you'll just bring it into your present, but with new faces and different experiences, different faces and different places and different people. You really want to just move on from the past. Really try to move on from the past. It's gone. We are today. It's always in the present moment, but I'm going to be doing a video on that. So it's just basically getting out of the habit of focusing on the pain of the past and moving on. If you're focusing on what you don't want, tried and tested, the more you focus on what you don't want, the more you get what you don't want. I promise you. The more, and normally people focus on what they don't want because they're scared out of fear that it's going to happen, but you're just creating it. So it's just a habit. It's just a habit. I promise you, it's just a habit. So instead of focusing on what you don't want, if your mind says to you, it's trying to tell you to focus on what you don't want, to say no. Thank you for sharing, but I'm going to focus on what I do want, and really start focusing on what you do want. And the more that you focus on what you do want, is the more you'll get what you want. Just turn away from what you don't want and really focus on what you do want. Or number 3, if you're focusing on what you don't have, again, the more you focus on what you don't have, if you focus on what you don't have, you have kind of like a scarcity mindset, and you're looking at the world in eyes of lack. So when you pay attention to what you don't have, then you're just going to get more on what you don't have. It's that simple. So focus on what you have. And you may be thinking, well, I don't have a lot. Okay. Are you breathing at this moment? Thank God you've got your breath. That's the most precious thing you'll ever have. Thank God a billion times. You have your fingers, thank God a billion times. You have your voice, thank God a billion times. I promise you, everybody's got the sky. Look at the sky. The sky, how beautiful it is. There are so many things that you actually have. Focus on what you have. And I promise you, what you have increases. I promise. So those 3 things, when people focus on the negative aspects of their life, they're all, like I said, they're either focusing on 1 or 3 of those 3 things. And it's really a habit, just a habit of getting out of the habit of focusing on 1 or more of those 3 things. Okay, so you're probably thinking, right, if I want to go to the other side and be like the other part of the population that are focusing on the positives, what do I do? How do I start focusing on the positives? Good question. Okay, so the first thing I would do is to pay attention to your state. What kind of state are you in? Because your current state is creating your reality. We're probably thinking, well, how do I know what kind of state I'm in? So are you in a positive state or a negative state? Well, how do you know? You know by your emotions. God is so great. He gave us our emotions to tell us where we are, what our state, where are we? Where are we vibrating? So you're going to always check in on your state. How are you feeling? Are you feeling sad? Are you feeling happy? Are you feeling angry? Are you feeling peaceful? Are you feeling grateful? Whatever you are feeling, that is your state. And whatever you are feeling, you are vibrating. And whatever you're vibrating, you're creating. Just remember that. So let's say that you are checking on your state. And I always check in on my state. What am I feeling? How am I feeling? And again, it's a habit. And if I feel that I'm in a negative state, yes, if I feel that I'm in a negative state, I straight away snap out of it. That's it. You have to snap out of it. And normally for women, it's before the menstrual cycle, like a week before. Like a week before, I know that I just go, whew, and I know that my state, I have to be I have to pay a lot of attention to my state at that time. And if I feel that my state is, if I'm I'm in a sad state, I get out of it straight away. And how do you get out of it? This is how I get out of it. I walk, I pray, I read, I swim, I eat good food. You know what gets you into a happy state. And so it's really just taking action. It's paying attention to what state you're in. And then if it's negative, change it. Change your state, do something, take some action to change it. If it's positive, keep on doing what you're doing. So the first thing I would say is to pay attention to what state you're in. And the second thing is to pay attention to the wonderful things in your life, which we already discussed before, but I'm just going to mention it again. Now, if we all paid attention to all the wonderful things in our life, if we all paid attention to all the wonderful, I promise you, sadness would be eradicated, because what you focus on increases. And can you imagine if we all just paid attention to all the wonderful things in life? So really paying attention to the wonderful things in life. Like I said, paying attention to the birds, paying attention to children playing together, paying attention to the people that you love, that surround you. Really pay attention to the wonderful things in your life. And a lot of people that are watching this video may be going through a challenging time. Let me tell you a little story. So if you actually read my life story, A Life Untold, you would realize that at the age of 29, at the age of 29, I was at 15, I was in an arranged marriage to a not very nice human being. But at the age of 29, I had 4 kids, and all of a sudden my 4 kids were taken away. I couldn't get a hold of my kids; they were taken away. And all of a sudden, and I didn't know anything. I didn't know. I really didn't. I didn't know how to live without my kids. My kids were my life. My kids were everything, and so I didn't know how to. I had to learn how to live again without my kids. I didn't know what to do, and so I started to pay attention. I was very young, but I started to paying attention to what I had. I lost everything, but I was paid attention to what I had, and I had my Creator. And my Creator was everything to me. And I used to pray at night, and I used to just focus on my Creator. And I used to say, please, just God, get me through this. And I paid attention to my Creator, and I paid attention that I had myself. I still had myself. So I thought to myself, okay, you've still got yourself. You've got to stay strong, get through this. So please, God, one day they will come back to you. They will come back to you, and they have to see that you're strong. So I paid attention to myself. And then I paid attention to my family. My family were amazing, and my friends were amazing. They really stood by me, thank God, a billion times, and got me through it, thank God, a billion times. And so why I brought that story up is that you're probably thinking, if you're going through a challenging time, you're probably listening to this video and saying, well, Guru, what do you want me to pay attention to? It's that when you're going through a challenging time is when you need to pay attention to the wonderful things. And I promise you, if you've got your Creator, you've got yourself, that is wonderful. That is absolutely amazing. And you'll find even more wonderful things. Focus on them, and then God willing, it will pass. And God willing, you'll get through it. God willing, you will. And thank God, after 12 years, my kids came back. They all came back grown up, thank God, a billion times. And they saw their mum strong and healthy, thank God, a billion times, because I paid attention to the wonderful things that I had. So that's number 2. Number 3 is pay attention to your soul. Now we always pay attention to our body. We do exercise, and let's go back. So if you want a healthy body, you do exercise and you eat healthy food, right? That equates to a healthy body. But what about a healthy soul? We sometimes forget about our soul. But if you don't nourish your soul, just like you nourish your body with exercise and good food and water, you actually need to nourish your soul. And if you don't nourish your soul, you'll feel it will create. Your soul will feel rejected, and you will feel sad. It really will. It will feel sad. And so everybody nourishes their soul differently, but this is how I nourish my soul. I check in with my Creator. I check in with my Creator. I pray, I confide in my Creator, I ask for guidance, and my Creator is my best friend. So that's how I check in with my soul. I check in with my soul, and I also ask my Creator to help me love myself, because He gave me the responsibility of my life, so that I'm actually loving myself and looking after my life correctly. And again, tried and tested. Nobody's perfect. When I don't connect with my Creator, when I don't pay attention to nourishing my soul, my world always feels a little darker. Always does. Always feels darker. However light and however many things, thank God, a billion times I've been blessed with, if I don't connect to my Creator, then my world feels a little darker. But the more I connect, the more I connect and nourish my soul and connect to my Creator, the easier my world is, and the brighter my journey here is in life. So those are the three things that I advise for paying attention. And then if we go back to Mary Oliver, she said the second thing, the second secret of life was to be astonished. Now we all, I think, we take life for granted, and our world, our lives, our days are filled with miracles. But when you live in a world where you're not astonished anymore, you don't see those miracles. Let me give you an example. You know, when you first fall in love, and then when you fall in love, everything about that person is amazing. It's like, oh wow, he did this, or she did this, and she said this, and he moved his hand this way, and it's just such a beautiful feeling, isn't it? And then when you get married, the things that they used to do become normal, and they don't astonish you anymore. And then when you're not astonished, you don't see the beauty of it anymore. It just becomes normal. But then when you want to work on your relationship, and make things beautiful again, you work on being astonished again. You work on falling in love with that person again, don't you? And you find all those things that you fell in love with, you find them beautiful again to save your relationship, right? Sorry, it's very windy. The door's like opening and closing. Now, it's the same thing with life. Start looking at the world as if you've never lived, and start living your life loving your life as if you've never been hurt, and you will live the most beautiful life ever. You really will. Start listening, like I said, to the birds. Start watching nature. Start just looking at life in ways that you've never seen it before. And I think it's a beautiful way to live. And you'll start seeing all the miracles that surround you. They've always been there, but you'll just start seeing them. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I actually loved preparing for this video. I really did, because I loved her. I loved the 3 secrets that she had to life. I'm wishing you a beautiful, amazing, beautiful day full of miracles and love. Kindly subscribe to my channel and click on the like button, and love yourselves, and I will see you in the next video.